We call this the Family Players House of Music. All ages and stages that are not afraid to play music together. And I like to think we're following the true tradition of an amateur, where if we make a few goofs, the whole world doesn't come to an end. Amateur means to play for the love of it. Okay.
So I'm going to tell you a story here. I wanted to play violin, or fiddle really. I always loved the fiddle. I wanted to play my whole life. And when I was 38, I finally started taking lessons from a woman in Charlottesville, a real good, famous fiddle player named Freda Epstein. Well, she technically taught me lots of stuff, and I learned songs. And then she moved, and I had no teacher for a while. Well, I heard about this Mary Roberts, and she was doing a program up at Ashland, and I went up and met her up there. Ended up going down to her house. First time I went down, she hands me a cello, says, "Here, hit these notes and play along with someone." And I'm going, "Oh, I thought I'm supposed to, what if I make a mistake?" I ended up taking lessons from her, and it completely transformed my life, not just as a fiddle player, but as a person. Because I learned to not be afraid to make mistakes. I'm still afraid to make mistakes, but not as much with the violin. And if I hit a bad note, she'd say, "Hit the bad note again, now you own it." And so it got where I would jump in and play with people. I could just pick up my fiddle, whether I knew the song or not, and I'd figure out a way to play along with people. And that all came from Mary.
I met Mary in February of 1996 for my very first cello lesson. And it was very exciting. First of all, the lesson lasted for 3 hours, which I didn't anticipate, but completely enjoyed. I want to just talk about Mary and how she instilled such confidence in her students. And she dragged me off to performances within 6 months of me starting. And I said, okay, and just played open strings. You know, it's like playing a Nancy for 4 beats, do the G for 2 beats, and back to the A for 4 more, you know, that sort of thing. I was still really nervous, but got through it. And she was just known for bringing all of her students together for her gatherings. And she really didn't believe in recitals, so we had gatherings, and everybody got together and played together. And she would feature students for certain songs, but they had everybody backing them up. It was just wonderful and marvelous. The one thing that I can talk about that is so pertinent to this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, is she would get us together, her students, her family members from Pennsylvania and Maryland, 100 fiddles, charts, a sound system, a keyboard, camping gear, and we would caravan to Fiddler's Grove in North Carolina. And on Saturday, we would do 2 first-time fiddling workshops.
When we got married, Marcia brought her 5 children along. One of the first things she said was, "We need a music teacher." The kids all had music teachers before, and I want to carry on this tradition because I feel it's very important. So somehow she found Mary. So I soon found myself going to Mary's at least once or twice a week to deliver children and sitting on her front porch doing the lessons. One day I remember Mary said to me, "Wayne, your family will come together when you start having fun together." And I'll never forget that. It just stuck to me. I tried it, and bless you, Mary, it worked. Thank you.
I remember coming to my cello lesson. I was working full-time and living in Gill at the time, and would just so look forward to coming to Scottsville for a cello lesson. Well, it was not out of the ordinary for me to walk in the back door and Mary says, "Come on, let's go." And I'm like, "Okay, where are we going?" "We have to go to the town council meeting." And I'm like, "Okay, am I going to get a cello lesson?" And she said, well, I don't know, but we have to go and we need to support the arts. They're talking about the arts tonight, and we need to go support the arts. And I'm like, okay. So we would go to town council meetings, and she spoke so eloquently, with such passion, about how important the arts are to not only the individual, but to the family unit and to society and communities as a whole. She sincerely believed this so much that to her, music was a God-given right. And I know that adult students would come to her and they would want to play the piano or the violin so much, but they were told in their younger days that they did not have the right to play music. Well, she might have had 50 or 60 students any given week. That person went to the top of the list. And she really spent time with them. Mary was not just the Pied Piper of music for children, which she has been known for. She was our Pied Piper as well. And we miss her.